Yeah, here's my version of Daredevil. Here we go, Marvel's Daredevil, the official Netflix TV series. I should have reviewed this like 3 weeks ago, but I procrastinate a lot. I said procrastinate. It stars Charlie Cox, Debra, Woll, Elden, Henson, Vincent D'Onofrio, Rosario, Dawson, Toby, Leonard, Vondie, Curtis Hall. This just has a really big cast of people, as you know, a TV show would do. And season 1 pretty much covers the story of young Matt Murdock, a boy blinded by chemicals to get in his eye in an accident, and then he's blinded, but it heightens his other senses and his sight too, really. So yeah, and he becomes a lawyer by day, superhero vigilante by night, the Daredevil, or as he's called throughout most of the show, the Man in the Mask. Because throughout most of the show, he's not in the Daredevil garb. It's like a tight black shirt, black pants, and a black mask that essentially it looks like this over his head. I can't replicate it though. Should I do the rest of the video like this? So he's going out there by day being a lawyer trying to fight for justice. And at night he also goes out and fights for justice. But this time dressed up and breaking people's arms and legs and pushing people off rooftops. You know, kicking a lot of ass as the Daredevil. And who's he trying to kick ass against? Wilson Fisk, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, who's the big bad villain in this season. There's a lot of other villains, but he's the main villain, and oh, I gotta talk about it already. This video is gonna be spoiler free. I'm not gonna really spoil anything, but I'm also gonna do a spoiler review to talk about a lot of moments I just wanna like and gush about and just be all excited and spurt out onto the camera. Sounded dirtier than I intended, but that's pretty much what I want to do. So let's talk about the show. First off, back in 2003, we had Ben Affleck's Daredevil. I'll eventually talk about that. But since then, Marvel's come a long way, and Daredevil's been struggling to get another movie or anything, so they finally like, yeah, we'll do it as a Netflix show. And I was very interested at first. I wasn't sure about the costume or anything. The pictures made me go like, But then the show came out, and I immediately binged. First 3 nights it was out. I finished the show in 3 days, and then I procrastinated getting this review out there. I'm sorry, I actually filmed this twice already, and I tried to do just one big video with spoilers and everything. It was too long, it was too much, so I'm going to try doing 2 different videos. Hopefully that should make them shorter. This show is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because this show directly is involved with the fallout of the Avengers. A lot of the villains' plots tie in with a lot of the destruction caused in the Avengers and how it leads with building planning and construction, such stuff like that, very detailed, and I couldn't exactly sum it up. So Matt Murdock, Foggy Nelson, they're trying to deal with that. They also got a character, Karen Page, who comes into the story and group. She's very good, played by Debra Woll. She's very good as like their secretary / partner. Foggy Nelson, played by Elden Henson, very good as the comedic sidekick of sorts. And he's a comedic sidekick as in, he's there, if he needs to be funny he is, but he's not like stealing attention, being a stupid jackass. So they're doing that, their lawyer thing. Meanwhile, Matt's also being the Daredevil to try solve things the good old-fashioned way, just breaking people's fucking arms, man. He goes out, does fantastic acrobatic action, backflip kicks and stuff, but he loves just breaking limbs. He does it quite a few times in the show. And eventually he stumbles across this plot, this guy that I can't mention his name, but eventually comes out, Wilson Fisk. We know him as the Kingpin, but in the show he's essentially just Wilson Fisk. And he's the villain. Can't necessarily go into details, but all this stuff builds on. We got 13 episodes to do this story right. It's not stretching. It doesn't feel like it's too long or too short. It feels like 13 hours essentially was the perfect time to play out this story. And yeah, I really did enjoy the show a hell of a lot. The show did so well at what it had to do. It had to be a Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, it had to be in there, but it felt like its own thing. This show seems far removed from all the movies because this show is dark, gritty, and it earns it. It doesn't feel like those movies that are like, we'll be the dark and gritty version of this, and it just sucks. No, this show couldn't exist if it wasn't dark and gritty, because that's just how it works. It fits in that setting and style so well. It's R-rated, and I didn't know it's going to be R-rated at first. And the second I realized, oh wait, this is R-rated. There is blood, people get hurt, bruises, blood, serious violence, decapitation with a car door. You know, this show goes for it. It goes for it. Someone is they're bleeding and it's stopped by a road flare burning it up to prevent bleeding. It's like, this show is a hard-ass show. It's badass. It earns this dark tone because it really fits. The acting, Charlie Cox, fantastic as Matt Murdock, the blind lawyer that's he's a good-hearted dude, but he's going to dark places to try get justice. I keep doing the Batman voice for that, even though he doesn't really have that, like, Daredevil voice. He really just sort of affects a little more stern and slightly deeper sounding, or like more like he's yelling at someone. He's never like going the "Where's the Kingpin?" Which I don't remember Christian Bale quite doing that. His voice isn't that far removed. I like that. He didn't go over the top. It fits good. And when he's Daredevil, I buy him as a badass. This guy really, the character Daredevil is just a backflip kicking, like he's just a hard ass. He's got great action. There's a scene in the show that's like in Batman Begins. The whole shipping container thing, running around that, kicking ass. I love that. The second episode, who hasn't mentioned it? The second anyone watched the show, you just heard the second episode, the hallway fight. If anyone mentioned anything from the show, it would be the hallway fight. And I don't blame anyone. That is one of the best action sequences I've ever seen on film, on TV, anywhere. Daredevil goes in a hallway. There's 2 rooms of bad dudes. It all erupts in a violent hallway. The camera just goes, like, it's connected to the ceiling, goes one way, the other way, and that's it. And it was fantastic. It was one of the best action sequences I've ever seen in my life. It's better than anything Marvel has ever done. Ever. I will talk about why. And I just love it. The action in this show is grandiose and fantastic because it is grounded. It is realistic because Daredevil's fighting someone, punch him in the face, guess what? The guy's gonna get mad and try punch him back. When you see Captain America, he shows up, boof, kick the guy, he's gone. Or throw the shield, Iron Man, blast someone away. Thor's got the hammer, the Hulk. We know what he can do, basically. Did that look right? That was supposed to be him smashing Loki. So like the other Marvel heroes, very easy for them to kick some ass. Daredevil's a real dude. There's back and forth fights. You get hit and suddenly you're dizzy, punch drunk, and you're trying to fight back and you're off balance. You're getting tired, stuff like that. These grounded, realistic fights, I much appreciate and enjoy more than all the Marvel stuff before, because I love the Avengers and all that stuff, but you know what? Give me Iron Man flying around blowing stuff up versus that Daredevil hallway fight. I pick Daredevil every time, because I just appreciate that more. It's just an aesthetic thing. As much as I love the Hulk destroying things, Hulk smashing, I just prefer that hallway fight. It's just grounded, realistic, more entertaining violence because you buy into it more because it's realistic. And I can relate to Daredevil in a hallway fight more than I can to Thor hitting someone with a goddamn hammer. And going back to the acting again real quick, I guess, Debra and Woll, very good, very a sympathetic character. She's very likable. She does come a little bit too much of a bleeding heart. Like, I feel sorry for everyone in the show. Like, a little bit of that. Foggy was very good. He had some very good moments in the show. Vincent D'Onofrio. Man, this guy was awesome. I love him in Men in Black and in, what's the movie? Major Malfunction? Full Metal Jacket. But in this show, he's fantastic. He is the best Marvel villain also, I gotta say. Marvel's had a few good villains. Winter Soldier and Loki. That's 2. Vincent D'Onofrio just blows every other villain out of the water because, yes, the show has an advantage of being 13 hours, a show, more time to develop characters. Daredevil and Matt Murdock, very interesting. Wilson Fisk, very interesting. It has more time, but still, he is so interesting. He's sympathetic, you pity him, you feel sorry for him, but you're also scared of him and what he can do because he can be such a, like, almost like a grown child where he's just very much like an awkward little boy as a man, but also he can just go into a rage and be just a threatening fucking psychopath. He is amazing in the show. I love Vincent D'Onofrio. He's fantastic. His girlfriend character in the show, I forget, what's her name? Vanessa. I forget the actress. She played Superman's mom though in Man of Steel. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to look it up. Also, Vondie Curtis Hall as Ben Urich. He was fantastic in this as Ben Urich, who has had the glory days and they're behind him and he feels like he's just in, it wasn't even the Daily Bugle technically because that's Spider-Man universe, even though Marvel owns that now, but not when they made the show, I guess. But he's trying to get real news out there, maybe news about the Kingpin, this and that. As like, he can't, they're not letting him report real news. He's got to do fluff pieces. His better days are behind him. There's no truth in this art, basically. And he was fantastic. Who else? Toby Leonard Moore as Wesley, Kingpin's right-hand man. Fantastic. One of the best just sidekicks. He's like up there with Bob the Goon. Just the most loyal, best friend. right-hand man that ever existed. He is so awesome in the show. I loved him because before you see Wilson Fisk in the show, he is there every scene. Like, you be fucking scared of him. I can't even say his name. He's just my employer. I don't want to say his name. You don't say his name. Great cast of actors and characters they get to play. The action, fantastic. Better villain and hero. It's just, because of the time, it gives them an advantage, but it's got more entertaining action just because it's more grounded. I'm into it. A more entertaining tone, because I just prefer a darker aesthetic to, let's say, Iron Man 2. Even though I love Guardians of the Galaxy and that one was hilarious, but it doesn't have to be dark, you know what I mean? I'm just saying I like this show better than the movies. That's my opinion. Okay? If you disagree, you do. I like the story that it goes into, even though maybe it's a little complex with the whole building construction creates crime and that, but like the general Daredevil going after Kingpin, all that, fantastic. I love the story, the acting, the action, the direction. It's just all a well-told story, a great show. I love it so much. It is, in my opinion, better than all the other Marvel stuff. Better action, better villain. It's just, there's things about it that are definitely better than a lot of the other Marvel productions, and that's just my opinion. If you think Avengers, you'd rather watch Hulk destroy things than do two dudes fighting hallway, that's fine. But in my opinion, Daredevil basically doing the scene from Old Boy, long tracking shot of just kicking ass, that'll defeat every action scene Marvel will ever do. I would give Daredevil an A+. I love this frickin' show. When season 2 comes out, I'm gonna try binge through it in like 2 days if I can, and hopefully get the review uploaded sooner than I did for this season. But yeah, that's just my non-spoiler thoughts on the show. I'm actually gonna do a spoiler review to talk about a lot of the big moments that I wanna talk about. So yeah, we'll talk about that then. Comment below, tell me what you thought of Daredevil, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.